And we just do. I didn't know knight c3 was a better move in those days. You know, you go knight c3 is considered to be slightly better than the standard. But I have my little tricky line against the Benoni and bishop f4. This is mainly tricky just because of bishop g7. You go queen a4 check, and then when he blocks, you go back to b3, and the d6 pawn is hanging temporarily. It's all been done before, and there are many methods to combat this idea, but he didn't choose a good one. He went a6, e4. We get the space. This is already a bad move because of, well, I mean, it's difficult to say. I guess maybe he can play b5 here, but perhaps I'm just going e5 straight away. It seems like he's wasting a bunch of time. Like I mean, he may be mixing up systems somehow. And then bishop g7, and now you spring the attack, and that comes in queen a4 check because he can't play b5 because you just chop it off. His rook's hanging on a8, and he's gonna go black on d7. All of a sudden, his d6 pawn is tenderoni, and so to block, you have to go back and gain a tempo, and now we're hitting two pawns at once. And this is pretty standard along the lines of the real line, where they go b5 and sack on d6. But here, there's not enough counterplay. I just get to take it. I'll say, well, what is going on? This guy is an IM. So he had the fantasy to go here and go knight takes e4, which is part of the old way. But unfortunately, I have e5, and when he takes this, I take this. And now we're threatening to g7. And when he eats this, we just castle. And when he takes this, remember, he's stuck in the middle. And so we get to now exercise the nasty attack down the e file. What to do? He's sort of trapped. And he even moved quickly here because I guess he sort of felt compelled to. So bishop e6. Now, I suppose his fancy idea was that d6 was hanging, and then but this already doesn't work for a couple of reasons. One, I can take on e6, and when he takes on d6, I have queen b7. That does threaten queen takes f7 and queen takes f6 as well as the rook. So I assume in that position he's going to castle, sack the rook, and then play knight c6, and then hope that the pawn on b2 will be enough compensation. Of course it isn't. I have two rooks on the back rank, okay? So I would up significant material, but I went into a deep tank here, and I felt like there has to be some way to skin this cat. Like there has to be a way to finish this game off clean without letting him castle. So I thought for a really long time, and I found it when so stop, chill, relax, and think about this for a second. You got to put this man out of his misery. He wasn't in a good mood. I saw he was in a bad mood. He wanted to be at the festival. He needed to get back to the festival. I had to get him out of there. This man in desperate need of a beer. So we're looking around and trying to identify something. And then I noticed that if I go queen a4 check, he cannot play knight d7 because then he doesn't have queen takes d6. I eat the bishop on e6 for free. He cannot go bishop to d7 because then he gets hit with bishop b5 check with the rook. And what to do? Completely lost. That leaves only queen d7, right? And then my queen's hanging, and that's how it ended. Queen here, and now you have to find the killer square, and that was it. Queen f4. So sweet. He still can't castle. The bishop on e6 is hanging. Now the bishop on f6 is hanging with the rook hanging on. And not only that, I'm threatening the knight on b8 on top of everything. So with all these threats at the same time, he had to give up and go get his drink on. Sometimes you have to help a brother out. Have a blessed day, everyone.